Hey now.
Hey now. Oh, that's a loud crow. Mike Scott.
That's what she said.
Turkey. Jason Ross.
Trucky, ducky, quack, quack.
Grant.
Oh, boy.
Doug. Piggy. Chicken. Horse. Everybody is here. Welcome into the drive. 339-1140. That is your Fire Wings hotline. 1-800-920-1140. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. Text us at 441140. Final Fantasy VII fanfare. Jingle singers.
That's a good one.
All right, we're here. Kyle Madsen behind the glass.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Woke
Woke up to a Woj bomb.
the Woj bomb on the Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a Woj bomb. Lakers finally pull off their big trade yesterday. Good for them. They got the guy they wanted.
Yep.
Huge deal for them.
Yeah, big time deal.
Yeah. Lakers are the thing is today, the bad news is we're going to probably talk more about the Lakers than maybe I've ever talked about on any show I've done. And it's still not going to be a lot. And that doesn't count like when the Kings beat them.
Yeah, that's not a high bar.
No. It really isn't. But the good news is we're talking about them because they're such a garbage fire. And there's so many awesome stories if you hate the Lakers like we do. So much. It is a great time to hate the Lakers.
Watching that fan base melt down over every report and be like, Woj actually doesn't know what he's talking about. He just hates that he doesn't have sources with the Lakers.
Exactly.
So
he's a hater, bro. He's a hater.
that's why he's just reporting this stuff.
Freaking haters, man. I had a Laker fan try to cap me for talking smack on the Lakers the other day, yesterday. The Laker fan's response was, "Yeah, you're in Sacramento. What superstar are you going to get to even come there? You could change the name of the city, and you're still not going to be able to get a superstar." And I had to stop and go, "Do you realize what the nature of your smack talk is? You don't. It's not. You couldn't build a team. You couldn't draft. You couldn't get. It's." You could never steal a superstar from. You'll never get anyone to sign. They're so conditioned to not doing any of the hard work and just having great players wantingly come to their roster because of geography, and they want to get a TV deal.
Right.
So they have no idea how Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. That's going to be one. I can't really say Rob Pelinka because I know Magic's in charge. But Magic Johnson might be the worst sports executive going right now.
And
I like him.
There is no other way, aside from signing LeBron James, which was just going to happen. You and I could have
give them no credit for that.
You and I could have been running the Lakers.
Literally.
No, that's not true. Because if you were running the Lakers, you would have told LeBron.
I would have purposely been like,
you wouldn't have signed him.
You don't want to come here, dude.
Yeah.
But your point is, my kids could have run the Lakers and he would have signed there.
Right. It's been an unmitigated disaster. They did not get Kawhi Leonard, who they were certain they were going to get. Paul George did not sign with them.
Nope.
They were certain they were going to get. Like, I remember Bleacher Report, after LeBron signed, putting out images, photoshopped images of Kawhi and Paul George in Lakers jersey, and it's like, this is going to be crazy.
Yep.
And now here we are a year and a half later.
And it's a predictable.
I say a year and a half a year later.
It's predictably nope. Everyone saw this. Not nobody saw that. Everyone, when they sign, okay, you have Lonzo Ball and LeVar Ball. And by the way, we have sound from LeVar Ball calling in on a Phoenix radio station yesterday that is just, Kyle, it's just so, it's like we need more awesome things to happen that the Lakers are going to be upset at. Oh my God, here's something else. Let me give you I actually listened to this entire interview.
Wow.
And downloaded it and cut it up. Here's just a preview of one of the clips. Here's LeVar Ball on Phoenix radio yesterday talking about Luke Walton.
Luke Walton was the worst coach ever for Lonzo.
There's a lot more. Here's a preview of LeVar Ball on Kyle Kuzma.
You see every time Kuzma play by himself, him and Hart play by themselves, they don't get nothing. Ingram play by themselves, they don't get nothing.
So I wonder if he knows. I wonder if he has been like not saying anything, and now because he was like, you know what, Lonzo's on the Lakers, they'll figure it out. And now they're like, oh, they're trading him. I need to step in and
that's exactly what it is.
Reassert myself.
He stayed away because LeBron and Magic probably pulled him aside and said, dude, if you open your mouth, we're going to make it bad for your kid.
Right.
So shut up.
Memphis.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to win championships. Just shut up. And LeVar said, okay, I got you. It's LeBron James and Magic Johnson. I'm not messing with LeBron James and Magic Johnson.
Right. I can beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, but not Magic Johnson.
He was actually asked by these hosts later in the show. I didn't clip that part up, but I'm being serious. He was asked, say, hey, LeVar, where have you been? Are you afraid of LeBron? And LeVar goes, I'm not even afraid of Jesus. How can I be afraid of LeBron? I swear to God, I'm not joking.
I'm really sad you didn't isolate
I
that.
probably should have isolated it. Yeah, when it rains, it pours. So, yeah, there's that. It's really a fun time to hate on the Lakers. Now, there's a flip side here. There's a flip side that I have to acknowledge. And I'll acknowledge that later. I just want to remind everybody. Magic Johnson went out with bringing LeBron James in and having Lonzo and LeVar Ball on the squad. He signed Michael Beasley. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who, to be fair, I haven't heard anything bad about all year, but true story, was wearing an ankle bracelet during games last year. Talking about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, to be fair to him, as I said, but
he wasn't wearing an ankle bracelet.
Or what he was wearing? What was the thing he was wearing?
Nope.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, I think that was photoshopped.
I thought he was.
No,
wait. Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! If it was, they got me,
dude. Same, because I think I tweeted about it.
I know I tweeted about it.
I took it as common fact and was just like, yeah, hey, at least he doesn't do this, and someone's like, he doesn't do that
because he couldn't. There was a whole thing where he couldn't leave the state.
Right, but I'm sure that because that's a very high-profile thing that they can just see him there.
Dude, that is awesome if that's the case, because I full on have thought.
Yeah, I did too. If I hadn't said anything about it and had somebody correct me.
Now, hold on a second. It says he's serving a 25-day jail sentence. He can't play road games.
Right.
He can play in California. He's also required to wear a GPS monitor to track his location outside the detention center, though it is unclear if he'll be forced to wear one on. Okay, I see what you're saying. He had to wear the ankle monitor, but we haven't confirmed whether or not he had to wear it during the game, and you're pretty sure he did not.
I'm 98% certain he did.
Is it?
Because then I started watching Laker highlights, and I couldn't see.
You couldn't see it?
No.
Is it because
I'm just a dummy?
Is it because it wasn't a Nike ankle monitor?
I think that's it.
I think would you've had to roll down the sock?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so anyways, you had a guy who couldn't leave the state for part of last year. But to be fair to him, I haven't heard a peep out of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
No.
I don't want to pick on him. You signed Michael Beasley.
Uh-huh.
You signed JaVale McGee. Uh-oh.
Two-time champion JaVale McGee.
Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson. It's like Magic tried to build the most combustible roster around LeBron James.
And honestly, everything was fine until LeBron got hurt, and then they tried to trade for Anthony Davis. And they made it very public that everybody was gone.
And that seating arrangement last night during that game was phenomenal. So we'll talk about that. There's a flip side to this Laker talk too, though, and we would be irresponsible if we did not bring up what's going to happen. We'll tell you about the Clippers trade and what that means for the Kings' playoff chances, which are now very, very much more real.
Yeah, they're alive.
We have a big, giant show for you today. And we'll start it all with the Morning Brew. Next on The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.
Bogdanovich, here's the defensive switch. Capella now on bogey, trying to create some space. Got 4 on the clock. Now he drives, he scoops, he scores. Bogdanovich just schooled Clint Capella that time after the defensive switch out on top. Nice push into the interior by Bogdanovich for the scoop score.
Don't be mad at me, Kings fans. But I can promise you one thing will not happen tonight. Bogdanovich is not going to school Clint Capella again. It's not going to happen.
No, and that's not a knock on Bogdanovich.
No.
There's just zero chance he's going to go in and school Clint Capella.
Ain't happening again. Sorry.
And anybody who wants to be overly optimistic, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a stupid Warriors fan. You're a hater.
Yeah.
I will bet you $1 million he doesn't school Clint Capella.
I'd be careful about that because what if for some weird reason Bogdan flies to Houston where, like tonight, he gets on a red eye and flies to Houston and meets up with Clint Capella, and then we read about it tomorrow on The Athletic that Bogdan is actually secretly an astronomy buff, and he and Clint Capella were looking through a telescope at Clint's house, and he taught him about the constellations. Now you owe somebody $1 million.
That's a great point.
So
$100, I will bet you.
Okay, that's a fair bet. Clint Capella, of course, is out. And
He's not playing.
That's why Bogdan. That was a whole joke right there. But you know who is playing, Kyle? Is a guy named Jimmy Harden. Jimmy Harden is playing for Houston. Jim Harden, real big beard.
Not ringing any bells.
Do you think he would actually be as cool if it was Jim Harden?
No.
No?
No.
But is that just because we're used to James?
Jim Harden
was on The Office.
Was exactly.
He was Pam's guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, we will talk about this. Obviously, Kings play tonight.
Jimmy Harden is basically Lou Williams with a beard.
I feel like Jimmy Harden was like Beaver's friend from School and Leave It to Beaver. It was like Beaver, Wally,
Oh,
Jimmy
we went
Harden.
down and played jacks with Jimmy Harden.
Okay, we're stupid and everyone should turn off the show.
James Harden is good.
He's really good.
That's our analysis.
Yes. Number 2.
He goes to the foul circle, the foul line. The running one-hander in the air for the lead. He put it in. Yes, sir. 117 to 115. Tobias Harris with 34.
One of the ways where Europe is better than America is in name pronunciation. Because so we said Jimmy Harden wouldn't work, but what if instead of Tobias Harris, it was Tobias? Like, remember Patrick Elias, the Elias?
Yeah.
I always thought it was Elias.
Yeah.
I feel like Tobias sounds awesome. Tobias Harris.
Tobias is the guy. Tobias? No,
Yo,
Tobias.
buddy, too.
No, Tobias is the guy who was the hot dog eating champion before Joey Chestnut came along.
Yes, that was definitely Tobias. That was. What was it now?
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, thank you.
The only reason I remember that is because of Step Brothers.
Tobias Harris will now hook up with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and James Butler as they're going to try to dominate the East.
Jimmy Butler plays like a James Butler.
He does. James Butler would work perfect. Then why is Jimmy Butler okay, but Jimmy Harden isn't? There's Jimmy Harden and James Butler. I think we'd be sitting here saying, "Oh, James Harden wouldn't work."
Yeah.
Neither would Jimmy Butler. That's weird. The Sixers played. They sent a lot back. Amongst one of their rookies they traded off, they also sent their own 2020 protected first, an unprotected 2021 first round pick via the Heat. That's the prize.
That was a big deal on draft night when I think Phoenix unloaded that pick.
Yeah.
To Philly in the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Mikal Bridges
from Villanova. Yep.
They unloaded that pick to Philly, and that was like a big deal on draft night.
Right, and then see you later. Well, Philly's got themselves a nice little core to go into the playoffs this year. But why that's important is this directly affects the Sacramento Kings, as the Clippers are the only thing standing in the way right now of the Kings being in the 8th seed, and this should effectively pull back on their season. You would also expect them to probably make a couple of more minor moves going into tomorrow's trade deadline. We'll talk about this quite a bit. This is very much a Kings-centric deal. And I've got a question for Kyle regarding the Clippers and perhaps another move they could make that I don't think Kyle agrees with. We'll get to that a little bit later. Number 3.
Wall. Foul line drives to the basket. Scores! John Wall attacks and scores.
Okay, so John Wall, we got to move along here. We'll talk about this much later. John Wall is out, not for this year. John Wall's out for a minimum of 12 months, meaning we're not going to see John Wall until probably after the All-Star break next season.
And even that's iffy.
That is very much iffy. It's just a sad deal, and it's weird. Like, first off, I'm sorry, when you hear about a guy who fell in his house and ruptured his Achilles, I'm just saying, man, you automatically go, really?
Yeah, I fell at home is the most like.
Yes. It doesn't.
That's very much the like, oh crap, I need to come up with something.
Right. Break glass when needed. Wall will be out a minimum of 12 months, and one thing that occurred to me there was my guess is his first phone call is going to be to his old buddy DeMarcus Cousins, also from Kentucky. They're very, very close. DeMarcus coming off the Achilles injury as well. He's going to need to lean on him. It's a real sad deal and real bad for the NBA. The NBA is better when players like John Wall are playing, and he will not be playing for a minimum of a year. So we'll talk about that because that's another thing that could very well mean something to your Sacramento Kings. I see Louie on the Fire Wings hotline at 339-1140. Louie, you hold through the break. We'll get to you when we get back. We'll talk about the Clip Sixers trade and what that could mean for your Sacramento Kings. It's The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. We had our first major deal of the trade deadline involving an LA team, only it's probably not the one you're thinking of. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported late last night that the Clippers agreed to send Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and Mike Scott to Philadelphia for a pretty big haul. Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, a 2020 first-round pick, a 2021 unprotected first-round pick, that's via Miami, and 2 second-rounders. That could be very helpful for the Kings, who are a game back of the Clippers, for a playoff spot.
I'm dumb. You said pretty big haul, and I was like, a fame of, like, the first thing I thought of was like a giant hall.
Like just a hallway.
Huge hallway.
If you walk in, a 2,000 square foot house,
chandeliers,
1,900 foot square foot
what
hallway.
They got. Good trade.
They're going to be able to walk so many people through that hall. The Lakers did make a more minor trade yesterday. They sent rookie Svi Mikhailiuk, who I was told was the next Klay Thompson, along with a second-round pick to the Pistons for Reggie Bullock. Speaking of the Kings, they're back in action tonight against Austin Rivers and the Houston Rockets at the Golden One Center. The Kings are looking for their 8th consecutive home win. Pre-game begins with game night at 5:30.
Right.
Kings Live is at 6:30, and tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. It's 6:30. And it's time to get the perfect Valentine's Day gift at Sharif Jewelers. Spend $99 or more and receive a pearl bracelet at Sharif Jewelers. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Load.
You didn't even have it ready.
I swear to God, it's playing.
Unbelievable.
Hold on. Is this? Oh, yeah. Okay. You know what happened there?
No, I don't.
It's because I was recording stuff off the internet yesterday. I recorded the Kobe comments. I recorded the LeVar Ball Phoenix thing. I have to put my computer in a different setup so that it'll record into Audacity. This is so inside right now. So I apologize.
Your settings were wrong.
My settings were wrong. Here's the rejoiner.
To call the drive, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can also text them at 441140. They're ready to believe you.
And breaking news on the stuff I recorded here in just a second. So we got to get to the phone lines. I want to remind everybody, not only can you listen to us on demand via the KHTK app, you can also go to KHTK.com right now, seriously, this second.
Right now.
You can watch us on the television, Hello Cameras and Hello Cameras. The video cast brought to you each and every morning by the Sacramento Republic Football Club and our good friends at Jiffy Lube. Hello, Louie. Thank you for holding. How are you?
Oh, good. I appreciate you taking my call.
Appreciate you calling, Louie. You have a very busy day today, and you have set aside time to hold and then to converse with us and add content to our radio show for which we get paid for. So the honor is ours, Louie.
I appreciate it. Well, your tweets last night spoke to my heart, and I was thinking about how Jeannie Buss tweeted during free agency this past free agency that she woke up at 3 a.m. They were determined to make a splash. And it was just the most pointless tweet ever because they could have woke up at noon. They were going to get LeBron no matter what. And they knew it.
Yeah.
And they knew it. But, what you were saying about Magic Johnson on your tweet, I agree with you. And I honestly believe that he's like a modern-day snake oil salesman. And I'll explain. Right before the season started, he was being interviewed about Lonzo Ball, and he was telling the reporter how he was working on his shot, and he did his big old Magic Johnson smile and was like, woo, his shot looks so sweet. And he couldn't even believe that himself. But what I was talking about is there's a report, that's a rumor on Yahoo, but that he actually wanted Fox instead of Ball, but Jeannie Buss wanted Ball because she thought he was more big for TV and all that and the big hype going on over there.
Yeah.
And I totally believe that story. And so the fact that he knows Ball was the wrong choice, but he still tries to sell him on TV, and I know that's part of his job, but, it was a bad choice at number 2. And the fact that the media goes along and still hypes him up by, maybe this wasn't the media, but the NBA, but having him in the Rising Stars Challenge as well, Lonzo Ball, I don't think he belongs there. And I think that everybody's so enamored with LA, even when they're not doing well, it's just kind of embarrassing, and they don't get discredited like they deserve to be. And I'll take your guys' comments off air.
Thank you, Louie. I appreciate everything. A lot to unpack there. What I had tweeted out last night, Kyle, just to reference for those who weren't. I said, at some point, is it okay to say Magic Johnson and friends are horrific at their jobs? You literally got LeBron James for nothing. No trade. He willingly signed with you for geography. You went out and signed Team Nut Job, and now you've alienated them. You willingly surrounded one of the greatest players ever who you gave nothing up for with a roster that sounds like you lost a bet. You couldn't get Paul George. You couldn't get Kawhi. You're offering your whole squad and the Hollywood sign for Anthony Davis, and you're still failing. That's what he was referencing when he talks about Magic Johnson. I've seen that story leak that he wanted De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Magic Johnson, though, just to be fair, isn't that the type of story you would like to be leaked?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
I don't necessarily buy that, and I don't buy that Magic Johnson didn't have full control of the team. Jeannie Buss handed it over.
Right.
Lonzo Ball is better for sales and hype. There's no doubt about that going into that draft. There's no way. And I'm not done with Lonzo Ball, by the way, as much as I want to kick the Lakers when they're down. I'm not ready to call Lonzo Ball a bust at all. And if you ask me I still think he's going to be a future All-Star. And I know I'm way in the minority there, but I think Lonzo Ball is going to be a very good player. I think he's in a very, very tough situation right now.
I think what Louis said though is really relevant in regards to LA gets put under a more optimistic light because of where they are. Can you imagine, Brandon Ingram just has not been that good. There have been flashes for sure. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
he's not been high on Brandon Ingram.
He's not been very good this year. And if all things were the same, but these three guys, Ingram, Kuzma, and Lonzo, were playing in Memphis.
Well,
there's no way Memphis is putting together a trade package involving those three guys for Anthony Davis.
Let's be market specific, because I think I know where you're going, and I think this is a good way to sum it up. Take all the moves Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka have made over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Have those be Vlade's moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's annihilation nationally. Vlade is the scapegoat. He is stupid. He doesn't understand English. He's dumb. All the catchphrases you hear, all the code wording you hear. But because it's Magic and Rob Pelinka, And I love Magic Johnson. I do. As much as I hate the Lakers, I have nothing but respect and love for Magic and how he played the game and how great he was and what he's done in the inner cities, in his businesses. Like, I am actually kind of a fan of Magic Johnson's. I'm not trying to just kill the guy because he's a Laker. And by the way, he's gone through a few things off the court, too, that make me root like hell for him. But, geez, what has Magic Johnson done? Good.
They got LeBron James. That's it.
That, again, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be cheap here, but I don't give them any credit for that.
And the counter argument here is, well, give Ingram and Kuzma and Josh Hart and Lonzo some time here to develop.
I agree.
Right. But he's only getting the benefit of the doubt because he's the Lakers GM. And he's
That's
Magic
exactly
Johnson.
right. And they can't give those guys the time to develop because they chose to bring in LeBron. And LeBron has a timetable.
A good example of this is a very recent example is after the DeMarcus Cousins trade.
Mm-hmm.
How
another one, by the way, he coveted and Magic Johnson very much wanted DeMarcus Cousins and was pitching DeMarcus to the Kings long before the Kings decided to trade. There was a meeting. They were a list of a few teams that DeMarcus would go to. That trade was a lot. I don't want to say it was closer than people think, but there were serious discussions from the Lakers for DeMarcus years ago.
But it was pretty roundly criticized out of the gate.
Sure.
That wouldn't have been the case if this was Magic Johnson.
And do you realize who the last, I could be wrong here, you're the last 3 All-Stars. Could you even name the last 3 All-Stars the Lakers drafted?
The Lakers drafted?
Drafted.
Holy smokes. Andrew Bynum.
That is correct. And the other 2 have asterisks next to them.
Oh, is it? You can't say Kobe Bryant, right?
No, because that was Charlotte.
Right,
no, it was
Charlotte.
sooner than that. They're both still playing. One's a current All-Star.
I don't. Go ahead.
So
I don't want to.
So you've got D'Angelo Russell.
Okay, yeah.
Who was not an All-Star. They traded him.
Right, to clear cap room.
And Marcus Hall. I believe those are the last 3 All-Stars. Check me on that the Lakers drafted. One of which was Andrew Bynum.
Right.
And the other 2 were not All-Star. They were gone before. You can't give them credit for that. That's it. I mean, here's the other side. We'll finish the segment like this. As it stands right now, because of that Clippers trade yesterday, Kyle, the Sacramento Kings going into tonight, Clippers came back. Charlotte completely crapped the bed. They had a 20-something point lead, I think, in the third, and lost it. So you have the Clippers right now, a full game. The Kings could have been going into tonight tied with the Clippers with a chance to take the lead with a win over Houston. The Clippers are now exactly 1 game ahead of the Kings for the 8th spot. Let's not forget the Utah Jazz are just a half game ahead of that. So the Kings are a game and a half out of the 7 seed. And the Kings are a full game and a half ahead of the Lakers, who got throttled last night with LeBron.
That was... What did they lose by, 46?
46.
Oof. That was brutal.
46 in Indiana, and not only that.
Can I say, it was 46 points, and it wasn't even that close.
No, it wasn't. And there were bigger stories than that happened during the game. This is a clip, by the way, of Pacers fans when Brandon Ingram was at the free throw line.
He averaged 16 points last year in year 2. He's at 17.2 and his last.
If you can't tell what they were chanting while Brandon Ingram was at the free throw line, it was, LeBron will trade you.
It sounded like overrated to me but
LeBron will trade you. And they had another chant going a little bit later for one of your guys. We'll get to that as well. More on this, more on the Clippers trade, more on where the Kings are going, and, of course, the game tonight. When we come back, Kings, Rockets. Oh, I see you adjusted our rundown. Now, there's something I got to talk to you about in the next segment. And it has.
Okay, I was moving the important stuff to the top.
Oh, this is so not important, but I have to get your opinion on this.
We are if it's the thing I think it is.
It's about a runner.
Yes.
And a mountain lion.
And they fought.
And we've had this conversation before about what would happen. I'm very excited about this, and I want Tim Rome to step in the studio at some point in the next segment as well, because I need his opinion on it as well. It's The Drive, back in a couple. Sports 1140 KHTK. Sam Amick will join us at 8:05 tomorrow. Kyle, do we have to give away those? I want to save those Heat tickets for tomorrow. Can we do that?
Kings Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow we will be giving away Kings Heat tickets.
Well, we have some. You want to give away 2 per tomorrow?
Yeah. I want to do a blowout tomorrow.
Okay.
Prize Palooza Thursday. Wait. I didn't try to slip into a Jim Rome there, but I almost did. Certainly not as good as Tim Rome. Welcome into The Drive. A couple stories here for you before we get back to the Kings, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Clippers, with just 29 games left in the season. Kyle, do we officially have a playoff race for the Sacramento Kings
Yes,
yet?
dude.
It's 29 games.
Yeah, dude, that's no, but that we're at the point where, like, okay, in December the Kings lose 3 in a row and the Clippers win 3 in a row, and it's like, like they have time.
Sure.
We're at the point now where if the Kings lose 5 in a row, like that's a disaster.
Sure.
Because they're in the middle of a playoff race. There's less than half the season left, dude. 29 games.
Haven't even come to the All-Star break yet.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
I know. But although some people say the good teams turn it on after the All-Star break, that's when they put it in gear.
Oh, okay. Maybe the teams who know they're locked into a playoff spot because they can coast, but
I don't know.
And there still has to be and we still have to see what they do at the trade deadline.
That's your drive question of the day. Are the Kings officially in a playoff race yet? Are we ready to say so?
Will I be getting my coins after the playoffs? Yeah, by saying that the Kings are a playoff team in like November.
But don't you kind of feel like we're jinxing it where it's a little too early?
No, but
Haven't
like if that
learned?
happens, no, but okay, if that happens, because it's far from guaranteed. They're not even in the 8th seed right now.
Right.
But they are fighting for it.
Yes.
So let's say everything goes right. Let's go to the world where nothing bad ever happens, and the Kings wind up as the 7 or 8 seed. When would I get my coins?
When they make the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as soon as if they,
I'm trying to think of a scenario here, like trade deadlines tomorrow, and the Kings are right there. Let's say they beat Houston tonight, going into the trade deadline.
If they beat Houston tonight,
they'd be a half game behind the Clippers.
There might be a party downtown.
Excuse me, I think they'd be tied with the. Aren't they a half game back? No, they'd be a half game behind the Clippers. They're a full game right now. But here's the scenario: they beat the Rockets tonight. They're a half game out. Trade deadline's tomorrow. And Vlade Divac's trades. What would be the right trade? Willie Cauley-Stein, who's a starter.
Well. Okay.
Let me not be specific. I don't want people to get lost to that.
Yeah, no.
But what if, let's even say as part of facilitating a deal for the Lakers for another team, whatever. He makes a trade that makes a trade that brings in, let's say, an unprotected lottery pick this year, and 2 future first rounders. I mean, I'm going way over the top here. Point being, he makes a trade.
That would really be something.
That acquires like really good picks, but makes them a worse team this year. Do fans freak out? Like,
yes.
Like they're not going to make the playoffs this year now. But it was but in a vacuum, it's an insanely good trade for the Kings.
Right. But the response you would get, the response the Kings would get was, we were pushing for a playoff spot. The Sixers just unloaded their best player. What are you doing?
Right.
We could have made the playoffs this year.
That's what you think that would be the overwhelming reaction.
Nobody's going, oh, well, we can miss the playoffs this year. Because, dude, you're not guaranteed to get back. Like, you're never guaranteed anything. And I know you're looking at chances and odds and all that. And in the long run, zooming out, and you go, okay, because the Kings weren't guaranteed a playoff spot this year, but now they get all these unprotected. I think you would get the response of people saying, our young core is in place. We're fighting for a playoff spot, and you just unloaded assets to get draft picks.
Even if it makes them better down the road and gives them a better chance to win a championship in the long run. I mean, I'm
you
just
think they're
devil's
winning in
advocate
5
here.
years?
Huh?
You think they're winning in the next 5 years?
I do.
So you would,
I do.
I hope of all people would be very against the idea because look, I know you didn't want to get specific because you didn't want to get caught up in that, but the fact of the matter is to get the trade that you're talking about, you're getting rid of probably Buddy Hield. You're getting rid of probably.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that.
To get all these unprotected firsts that you're talking about,
this is like a fantasy.
You would need to unload premium assets.
This is like a fantasy trade where you're trading Willie, but let's say you're also trading Costa, Ben, Zach Randolph, Iman Shumpert. There you go, and because those are the expiring. So you're trading $30 million in expirings plus Willie cauley-stein, and that nets you 2 first-round picks, one of which is unprotected and fairly good. Like it's going to be probably a lottery pick.
Then.
But you lost 2 starters.
I think they can replace them.
Okay.
Especially on the buyout market.
Because I want to make the playoffs so bad this year. Don't get me wrong, but then at the same time, reality hits.
But it would be for me and from where I'm sitting, it would be devastating to get this close and then in February just punt. That would be brutal.
Even though in April you're basically getting a ticket for. I'm not gonna lie, Warriors Kings first round series would be amazing.
It'd be so much fun.
But it would probably be amazing for 4 games.
5.
Maybe.
I don't think the Kings are sweeping the Warriors.
That's
give the Warriors.
That's a great point. Well, how much time do we have in this segment here?
1 minute.
God dang it.
You're the one that's been talking sports. I don't know who this is.
I don't know either. It's The Drive. Who's this? Unscreened phone call. Hello.
This is Flavio. What's going on, Dave? How you doing, brother?
Flavio, how are you, brother?
Good, man. I was listening to you right now, so I had to call in. I'm just thinking, like, there's no way we can trade Willie cauley-stein, only because he's got so much upside, and he would probably only cost us about $54 million when we finally sign him. But I want you to throw this around, and I shot this out to Grant yesterday. Tell me what you really honestly think if we were able to, seriously, what are our chances of getting Kawhi? I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, that's fair. We'll talk about it when we get back. I'll say this before we go to break, Kyle. Our chances of getting Kawhi now, our chances of getting an A-level free agent, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, whatever, are better than they've been since 2002, 2003.
Yep.
And we'll get into that more next. Kings Rockets tonight. Got a couple more things to get to as well. And this whole Lakers deal, too. We got to talk about that and get those quotes out. It's The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.